Hello, everyone. This is Monsef Afker, and thank you so much for joining us in this new call of your divine uniqueness. Thank you again for being here with us. Thank you for your presence and sharing with us your energy. Also very excited and very happy that William Linville is joining us today. I think the last time it was several years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, that he joined us. And how to say, it's what I love about William's message, it's really profound, and it's how to say it goes beyond words, like the way he explains and talks about the spirituality, esoteric things that and themes that we talk about. It's more than what you feel that it's more like an experience. And through the discussion we had with him the last time, it was really eye-opening about who we are and realizing the truth of our true divinity and true power as divine being and also human beings, and how we can embody that in our physical reality. And really love his message and his work that he is doing. So really excited that he's back with us today. And the subject today is becoming our divine self. So we'll be talking about that. Also, he will be discussing thoughts, the origin of thoughts, and how and what is beyond those the thoughts and perceptions, and also how can we connect with creator consciousness, star families, our guides, and really much more. So very excited about the subject today. Also, we will have a Q&A later in the second part of the call where you can ask your questions. For that, you can raise your hand by pressing *2 on *9 on your phone, or if you are on Zoom app, you can raise your hand by clicking reactions, then raise hand. Also, you can type your questions on the chat boxes on both YouTube and Zoom. And for those of you who are new to William, I would love to share with you maybe just a little bit about him. So William Linville is the embodied clear conduit of presence and clear creator consciousness, whom has transcended all the lower levels of the physical form, as well as all the carnal levels of the physical makeup that came with his embodiment, which he stepped into on a surgery table on 1996. He is here on the planet to assist you to clear out all of your mental, physical, and emotional conflicts and misperceptions that have held you back from fully marrying your higher levels through your lower levels. And so with that, William, welcome to the show. Happy to have you with us today.
Well, thank you, Monsef. What a beautiful blast and an honor to be here again. It's so great to see you, and welcome home back to Morocco land.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. So really excited to have you back here. And maybe in the beginning, how to say, I shared just a little bit of your bio, but I would love if you can tell us maybe briefly about your story and the main theme of your message.
Well, what it is, it's, picking up a body on a surgery table at about 3:58 in the afternoon, December 20th, 1996. The old Will, as I call him, he knew he was leaving the planet, and he made his own goodbyes, resolutions, completions, and with agreement, he stepped out during the surgical procedure, and I came in. And what that means is his soul left the planet, left the body, and like a tag team, giving each other a major embracement, I came in with the agreement that number one, I would come in, take on all of his issues, constructs, debris, vows, contracts, and agreements, physical aches and pains, all of his anger, resentment, hatred, despisement towards God, and everything else that he had taken in. And it's wasn't just this life, it was from first separation to now, taking in his torment, his pains, his mental health issues, and all of the above. and all of his agreements with the family monad, his wife at that time, his children, blah, 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 blah. And to come in, transcended, superseded, assist them, and then eventually get rid of all of his soul memories, all of his Akasha record realms, all of his cellular memories, and then all of his family monad issues, the incarnational realms with that family monad, and all the other different ones in his life, and even assisting all of them well beyond his family monad, to then begin my journey. And it had been very intense, you know, the body going through shutdown after shutdown, physical, mental, total clear slate, like the brain shutting down, the blindness, losing eyesight, extreme pain, the body eating itself away, being in a wheelchair, on and on and on for many years. And then the extreme pain, the myelin sheath being eaten away, and all the stuff that had been exasperated due to all the stuff that he had internalized, taken in. He was the mediator and the one constant being physically harmed, physically, mentally, emotionally, in his family monad, and a different father, and there was all these undercurrent things that he had experienced. And then it was by agreement, I took all that on and started clearing it up, releasing it, dissolving it, waking up from it. And I just wanted to clear out. I mean, I just wanted to address, it wasn't like you come in, the skies are open, and woohoo, I'm walking, and everything's angels and archangels and butterflies and mushrooms, magic mushrooms and smurfs and all that. Leprechauns, no, it was the exact opposite. It was about as dark as you could be dark at that time. With the only difference was not knowing anyone. You knew what part they played, but there was no resonation, not knowing anyone. So it's like coming into a body and everything is like black, nothing to grab onto. So it's like a constant experience and sensation of like falling, but no handles, nothing to grasp onto, nothing to grab onto. And then day by day, your body's going to die. There's nothing more we can do for you. And it's like all the way to the bottom, where all of it, when I look at it, it was a journey of total surrender. Of what do you do when he was already on disability? So that one, it was called severe depression. And the hole just got deeper and deeper. Then it was physical disability, mental disability, emotional disability, blah, 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 blah. And it was interesting because the surrender was, it goes to show how you just, no matter what, you could just not get away from yourself. Because eventually it was just me, myself, and I, but it wasn't, it was me, but the body and his memories, his experiences. And at that time, I didn't know that. So I still thought it was mine. It was just, who are all these people? Until step by step, it was climbing one rung, another rung on this ladder called vibrational frequencies of acceleration. It's like you got to start somewhere. And then starting to, look at, why would you perceive yourself to be guilty? Where is this rage and anger coming from? Why would you, why would others yell and scream and just smack you around, blah, 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 then come to you and asking you to put out their arguments with other siblings or parents? All this stuff that made no sense at all. And until eventually it became clearer and clearer the more that I walked my walk And that's when it began my journey through the heart, my journey with myself. And one step through the heart to another step through the heart, another step through the heart. I'm not saying it made me sense, any cognitive logical sense, because the heart does not make sense. And the mind tries to make sense of the heart, and it won't, because it's impossible. The mental level can only take you so far. With the best intellect on the planet, can only take you so far. And it's an interesting, whole different interesting place to try to hide away for the ego. But you cannot think yourself into love. It's a tool. You can start to go there, then chuck it out the window eventually, when it just no longer has the capacity to hold you in like that bondage eventually, and to where it starts to lose its grip and you start to happen. Because in that time, you know, as I've shared with myself before, you know, there was nothing, and I share with you today, there was nothing left to grab onto. It wasn't sustenance, it wasn't painkillers, it wasn't abundance, it wasn't a van, a handicap van, it wasn't a wheelchair. There was literally one ambulance ride, another cardiac arrest, another, what's your name again? And on and on and on, to where it was surrendering. Okay, well, if the body drops, well, what are you going to do? Is there anything you can do? So it was coming to peace with, well, it is what it is. And it was that moment that everything started shifting, because the fight was gone. It's kind of like that whole journey of fighting, the idea of fighting cancer. The more you fight cancer, the more toxins you're creating in your body to feed the cancer. What if we just put it outside of us and look at it right in the eyes? Let's refuse to fight. Let's take a breath. Because the fighting is what created the cancer in the first place. So why keep feeding the ego? What about if we just take a breath for a minute and surrender? The ego is not the mind. The ego is what the mind has bought into as reality and as a truth. You as creator here, deciding that this is true, that's true, that's true, over there is true, over there is true. I'm lovable, I'm not lovable, I'm good enough, good looking, not looking, appeasing, not appeasing, pleasing, not pleasing. And, you know, it's kind of bizarre how it creates all these bias judgments and commands about yourself based upon the behavioral mannerisms of the outside world and others, to put you in all these boxes, and boxes that turn into castles, castles that turn into prison cells that turn into dungeons, and then dungeons that turn into tiny little sarcophaguses that turn into swords pointing towards you and enclosing upon yourself. The same thing goes with all these ideas of boundaries. That boundaries are great to a certain extent when you're first waking up, but then you start to outgrow them, then they start to enclose upon you. Now the only one being harmed is yourself, because now you've outgrown them. Now they start closing in around you. So now we chuck those out the window, because it's pretty simple, pretty obvious that, of course, I'm not going to accept anything but love in my life stream. So that's a no-brainer. So I don't got to walk around with all these walls up it's kind of funny, the ego trying to protect the ego. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, absolutely. I love that you brought boundaries. Like at some point we need them in our life, but then, like you said, we outgrow them, and especially when we feel that we create boundaries with someone and maybe they change, but then we see the same pattern happening again and again in other people, and at some point it feels like tyranny. Then maybe we need to question, like, why we feel bothered by others, or if they judge us, why we feel bothered by that. Is it lack of self-love or self-worth or self-doubt?
Well, here's the deal, Monsa. Like, it's kind of like me telling you, oneself, you're 9 feet tall, you have green eyes like an alien, and you're a cyclops with red hair, 20 feet spiked up in the air. Now, the only way that's going to hurt you is if you have an issue because somewhere deep inside you, you think you have one big cyclops green eye. So if you buy into that for a second, now that's the only way that's going to harm you. Now, as bizarre as that sounds, you don't have spiky red hair. You're not 16 feet tall. You're not a cyclops. You don't have one green cyclops eye. But it's the same thing as me saying, well, Monsef, you're just not good enough. Now, it's where within yourself, you would stop before you would do anything. You would stop, you would take a breath. You would ask yourself, am I good enough? Yay or nay? Am I having a reaction to that dear one's projection or accusation towards me? Yay or nay? Is my solar plexus tightening up? Is my neck getting tight? Are my shoulders turning into earplugs from them crunching up so high? Am I bracing for impact? Then I would say, okay, yeah, buddy. Obviously, you found some sort of truth in that statement within yourself, and then you're going to react, justifying yourself, trying to prove me wrong. Now I know I gotcha, because for you to spend all that energy trying to prove me wrong, I know I struck a chord. Now, in day-to-day life, how many do that with anything? It can be the price of cheese at the grocery store, and someone says, oh, it's this price, and another one says it's that price. And no, I'm going to go make sure because I want to be right. And now you can come back to them, and you took it on to go prove to them the price of cheese is the correct price, as if it even matters in the big scheme of things. But it's that whole theory of having to be right. Now you know you have an issue. For one, you have to be right. For two, you can't just let them be. And now we have this little 8-year-old running up saying, mommy, look at the test, the outcome of my exam for my spelling bee. And, you're wanting a pat on the back or approval from that child that's still looking for approval. Now, that's when I would have you stop, say, okay, now let's address that part of yourself that is a part of the ego that perceives that it has to be right. That would be your issue, not theirs. It has nothing to do with the cheese. It has to do with you trying to prove to everyone else that you're right for their approval. Now, it goes really wonky then, because now, once again, they have you by the jugular at that point, because now they've won the energy game. You perceive you won because you shared with them the right prize, but now they have you playing, so they're technically winning the energy game. Now they can make another accusation that, see, in 3rd grade, Monsef, you did blah, 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 and that means you're not right, and you're going to walk away for a minute, try to remember, open up that door where you can come back with another justification, trying to prove how they're wrong. You see, they're getting all this energy, all this power from you to prove that they're right. But they're just getting all this energy. And you see it about a lot of nothing. You see it in the media, you see it in politics, you see it in religion, you see it, my belief system's bigger than your belief system, my God's bigger than your God, and all these things that are playing out in society 24/7. It's just not that blatantly spelled out like that. So they use different examples, same game. It could be, well, did you see that so-and-so just had their 4th DUI? It's like, oh, shame on them. Well, you're feeding them again by judging them. You're feeding the They're giving it energy. You're giving them exactly what they want. So when it comes to this, we ask ourselves, number one, what really matters to me? Am I deep within myself? Do I have this vulnerable part within myself that perceives and believes as though I've got to prove myself to anyone or everyone else so I can be right? I can be upright and justified in the eyes of another, so I can feel good about myself. Or can we just sit right here, right now, taking a breath? You just feel good about yourself. Because you are divine. You are creator incarnate. You are perfection. And perfecting your own perfection right here, right now, not based in anyone else, not based what anyone else thinks about you, except you are perfect and you were created perfectly. You are perfect in your own uniqueness. Now, others are going to want from you. Others are going to project towards you. You know, on the average, when you leave the front door to the time you come back in the front door, it's kind of the average being judged on the average of 939 times. And it's on the average of judging about 397 times. And what would happen in all those judgments? I'm not saying you're sitting there. No, it's more you judge the environment, you judge your safety, you judge the difference in the cars, you judge the difference on the subway, and all this stuff's just automatic pilot. You're scanning for this, scanning for that. And now we're on a journey of exposing all of that to where you can be more aware of that, but even beyond just the judgment, more, see, when I'm saying aware, it's like it's bringing it up, but it's you as creator bringing it up into exposure to let all those filters be out of the way to where now it's you right here, right now. You're not internalizing and you're not pushing away others' judgments. It's where you can just let them be. I'm perfect, you're perfect now, all is well. And it's not, it gets so confusing for the ego and for the mind because so quickly you're taught to judge another, but you're not even really judging them. You're getting confused because you're judging them, but what you're trying to judge is their behavior. Now it's kind of like, okay, now what's the real issue here? Is it their behavior or is it them on a personal level? It's pretty amazing, isn't it, buddy?
Yeah. Yeah. And also when we see it that way, it really brings a lot of relief because it simplifies our life, because everything we need, it's already right here to feel whole and complete. And then the way we live our life, we can do the same things, we can create the same things, but the experience is totally different. The quality of our life experience become much better than before.
And so much more enriching. And one of the coolest things is colors start to become more colorful. Experiences start to become more fulfilling. And even the air starts to become clearer, lighter. Your creativity starts to become more creative. Your connection with your source, to your source, and you as source, starts to become more and more open, radiant, and mainstream. Your I need abilities, whether it's connecting on planet, off planet, you start to have more and more of a clearer connection communion, because you're starting to separate yourself from like the mass collective thought forms, the mass collective consciousness, the mass collective wash, rinse, repeat, the mass collective mimicking of what everyone else is doing, when everyone else is doing it, you start to separate yourself from, okay, everyone in the building is going to work, so I got to get up, get showered, whatever, go to work, do the work, come home, turn on the television like everyone else, do whatever I do, go to bed, then start again tomorrow. And it's almost like a blanket, like a wet blanket laid over you. And if you look all around you, just all the mimicking, wash, rinse, repeat, and a lot of your ones having no clue what they're doing. You start to separate yourself from that. And yeah, I'm not asking, we start running away from it and all that, because that's kind of doing the same thing. But now we're playing with like a rebellious little child going through puberty. We don't want to go there either, but we do want to be aware of it, wake up from it, to at least now we can be clear on what we're doing when we're doing it, because now this is about you taking your power back as you. That now there's nothing we have to do. There's a lot that we can do, everything we can do. But now we're not being ran around in circles by all of the woulda, coulda, shouldas. I gotta, I must, I got to, ought, and all that fun stuff. Where right now, in every moment, you can always go here, you can go there, and you can go there, and you can go over here, you can go over there, and we can take a breath and decompress and then engage. But now we can engage, and I do encourage you to get engaged, but you're engaging as creator, expressing through carnate as creator, expressing no longer just the mind, body, and spirit avenue, no longer as just a trinity, spirit and soul in form, because now at the soul level, we're no longer working out karma, we're no longer paying out vows, contracts, and agreements, and past debt or whatever. Now we're really starting to arise and starting to live again as you now, not the need to hide out in ashrams or nunneries or whatever works. It has been a part of your journey from first separation. Now we're no longer like lonely soul warriors or journeyers. Now we're opening up and welcoming all sorts of attributes and beautiful dear ones, beautiful light beings into our live streams to, through, and where we can enjoy, engage, and be able to be in a state where we're moving forth, running forth, but now as in a state where you're holistically whole, as healthy, whole, and complete, not constantly internalizing, looking for fault within yourself. If anything, being perfection that you are, to where you're seeing more perfection within yourself and as yourself, as you're created. And then if things present, great, all right, be gone. And where we're moving forth, running forth, and accelerating forth. But now as you, not the product of, not your mother or father's kid, not your great-grandparents, not following that same genetic encodement, but where you start to ask yourself why, and what is it that really calls to me? How do I really feel about not opinions, but about this, that, or the other? It's kind of like the whole metaphoric fall colors thing, right? The catalogs come out, the costumes come out. Okay, great, and that's great. Whatever works for you, but it's where you step back for a moment. You take a breath and you ask yourself before you go shopping, what, do I even enjoy them? How do I feel about it? Not just becoming another cliche because it's in the catalog. Either you like them or you don't. They resonate with you, they call to you, or they don't. And now it's not just about costumes, sustenance, fads, or whatever. It still comes back to how do you feel individually and uniquely as creator incarnate that you are.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And also this changes everything. Like also, how to say, the way we try to connect to our guides, for example, our highest self, receiving guidance, or even like connecting with other beings on Earth or outside or from off planet, like Pleiadians, Actuarians, or others. It's not about feeling that we will have something special when we have this connection. It's more, it becomes more like a co-creation, because we step into that state of being, or that communication from creator consciousness. So how do you see these kind of communications?
Now, can you say that again, buddy?
How do you see, because also sometimes if we still have traumas, we may try to connect with other beings, like Pleiadians or Actuarians or others, just to feel maybe we have something special, and then we feel good about ourselves more. So how do you see this communication becoming when we are embodying the creator consciousness? Yeah.
It's really, really, really so simple. So right now, let's all of us, let's take a breath. A nice deep breath. And let's do that about 3 times, just in through the nose, all the way down through your navel. Hold. And now just exhaling as slow as you can through the mouth. Then one more time, in through your nose, all the way down to your pelvic girdle. Hold. And now, as slow as you can, exhaling through the mouth, like you're trying to gently blow a feather off the table into the air. And now, let's bring your consciousness through your solar plexus. Let's just let your solar plexus, if you want, put your hand there, just letting it open up from the front, the middle, and the back, just letting it relax. Relax, decompressing. Opening up. Warming up. And now just bringing our consciousness from the solar plexus all the way up through your heart. Just letting the heart open through the front, the middle, and the back, and just really just letting it open, fill up, warm up. Just more and more and more. Speeding up, warming up, and now all the way up through your sternum, your shoulders, into your throat, letting the throat chakra vortex open up, front, middle, and back. Opening up, lightening up, warming up, all the way up through your atlas and axis vertebrae, through the back of the brain, through the midbrain, through the frontal lobe of the brain, through the third eye, front, middle, and back. letting it open up. Front, middle, and back, warm up. Starting to spiral and amplify, and now right up through your crown chakra level vortex, letting it open up to about 79 feet above you and about 34 feet in diameter. So letting it open up, spiral and spiral. Faster and faster. Just letting the eyes go cross-eyed, looking upwardly or starting to flicker. Letting the brain go into the thinner brainwave and going all the way, bring our consciousness all the way through the mass collective thought forms, all the way through the astral planes of consciousness, all the way to the sun. Let's just connect with the sun. Let's just hold our consciousness there. Let's welcome forth the rest of you as creator consciousness. And now going into your creator source intelligence beyond the sun. Just letting yourself be suspended, be held, caressed, embraced. And now let's go from our creator source intelligence. Let's just go right to the Pleiadian star system. If you want, put a door there. Let's just walk right through that door into Pleiades or Orion. Or to connect with your guidance realms. Or the Cryon, the Abraham, the Ashtar, Metatron, the Ascended Hosts. But right now, in Pleiades, as we go right there, this is where I just want you to take another breath, just relax into whatever right here, right now, is unfolding for you. I want you to relax into it. Trust and go with whatever you're getting, whatever is presenting, whatever colors, whatever beings, whatever frequencies are you're feeling, you're seeing, you're experiencing. Let's just ask them. If it's all black, great. Let's ask them to become clearer, come closer. To reveal themselves more and more. And the Pleiadians are funny because sometimes they'll present as a lion, a lioness, a white tiger, sometimes a beluga whale, sometimes a porpoise, sometimes a killer whale, sometimes a polar bear. They will present in a way that will most complement, benefit, but also accommodate your level of consciousness as well as accommodating your level of comfortability. Let's just, as they become clearer and clearer, the switch from the third eye right now. And just feel through your shoulders, through your heart as well. Let's ask them to let their presences become stronger to where you can feel them more and more and more around you. Where you can feel them stronger and stronger. Where you can feel their presences more and more and more embracingly, caressingly, complimentary. We can just start to feel their mutual honoring, their love, their support. Let's just ask them, my good friends, my new friends and good friends, what is it you would love to share with me right now? What is it you would like to tell me right now? And this time I want you to take a breath in through your nose, hold below your tummy, and on just exhale, like through your mouth, like a deep sigh. And what's the first answer that comes to mind? Because they start communicating with a thought. Now, I want you to, on the exhale, this is where I want you to let the thought arise from within you, because that's how they communicate. They'll send the thought, and it goes beyond your mind. It goes all the way through your higher levels, so up through your soul level, up through the emotional calibration lattice work, up through the sub-psyche, then to your conscious mind. It's not just from outside and around you. It's actually the opposite. They communicate with you beyond your filters. They're always communicating with you, but right now we're doing it without filters on it. And let's just ask them another question. And it's easier if you start with a simple, for some, a simple yes or no. Don't ask them what to do, because they're not going to answer what to do, because they're not going to take your power away. So in those sort of questions, I would say, would it be in my highest and best good to go here or do this or that? I wouldn't say, should I? Because that's just like when you're playing with kinesiology, you're going to get mixed messages. They're not even the ascended host, the angelic, the archangelic realms, your higher levels, your creator levels, your manifest levels. None of them are ever going to tell you what to do, including your guidance realms. They'll share with you what you can do, what you may want to do, but not what to do. That only the ones that do that would be from the exponential world, for the humanity. I also just asked them to become louder, and clearer. For some, more visual, for others, more feeling of a presence. For some, more auditory. They're always attempting to knock on the door. Now we're listening. The coolest thing is they never judge you. They never have, they never will. It's really an impossibility. Only ones that do that is humanity. And right here, right now, with still body scan, of what you're experiencing as you're opening and opening more and more. And remember, you're only welcoming in those that come in love and light and assistance. Just take a breath, and within ourselves that bind up out in the way, all entities, energies, thought forms, all fear, anxiety, overwhelming burden, fear of oneself, fear of the outside world, fear of being out of control, and fear of being controlled. Also, I bind up out in the way of all the fear of the unknown and the fear of oneself and the fear of one's abilities. I bind it all in the fear of being judged. I bind it all to the sun to be repolarized for the good of our humanity, never to return. I command to be replaced with I am creator incarnate. I am creator expanding and expressing within myself as myself, within and through this physical form, right here, right now, in this body, on this planet, and all is well. And now, let's just let our body accelerate faster and faster vibratorily. Where right now, there could be nothing of any density whatsoever. No heaviness, no entities, energies, and thought forms that are less than these beautiful beings that come in light, creator's light beings. Where we need not be afraid of ourselves. And just taking another breath. And now this time let's welcome forth let's excuse the Pleiadians and anyone else. Namaste, have a blast. Thank you. We're Coach on Dante. Been great, been awesome. Please feel welcome to visit me anytime or whenever I call. And welcome to my entourage and my guidance rooms. And now let's just welcome forth the ascended host rooms. Whom is not more than you, is not less than you. Ascended host just means they woke up, they went through the marriage of their higher and lower levels at that time. And then they went through the ascension status lattice work, they embodied their higher levels, then they left the planet. And that's what made them ascended host. So, or masters, if you will. which is exactly what you're doing right now. You're ascending and ascending in vibrational frequencies in megahertz of light in your own mastery and being that of the mastery of love. It's not about how many books, programs, whatever you're a part of. It's becoming and waking up and embodying the master of love that you are in the mastery of love. So now let's just take a breath. Come on forth, ascended host, ascended masters. You can welcome them all, and you can welcome one. And this is what's so cool about it. You know, so many welcome Sananda, Yeshua ben Joseph, Jesus, you know, the Magdalena, the Mother Mary, or the Kuan Yin, and on and on. But what's so cool about it, Saint Germain and Saint Francis, Clare, and so many more, Lady Nada, and so forth. But it's so cool if we all even welcome the same dear one. It's so cool how multidimensional they are, that through their own crystalline states of consciousness, which is called the Christ consciousness, which is crystalline state of consciousness, that they can be there for everyone because they're so multidimensional, just like you. That's why it's so important not to become so linearly focused, because you are more expansive, definitely not linear. So let's just take a breath. Let's welcome forth whomever, whatever, but you know, for fun, let's welcome forth Gabrielle. It mostly presents like in a beautiful emerald and gold sort of frequency and tone. Sometimes purplish and gold. So it's not one certain color frequency locked in, it's more situational. Let's just welcome forth Gabrielle, who's not a boy and not a girl, because the ascended hosts, they don't have genders because they no longer have bodies. Let's welcome forth those beautiful beings and presences. And the reason we want to focus on Gabrielle right now is that it really makes it a lot easier for you when you can really identify a little bit. Since they're always with you, now we're just kind of welcoming them out of the crowd to come forth and center in front of you, to where you can even recognize them via vibrational frequency, tones, colors at times, but most definitely by feel. So we say, hey, Gabriel, how you doing, my good friend? So we say, hey, Sananda, how are you, my good friend? You know, it's like a mutual engagement. And where for you personally, it's like, you know what your mom feels like, your dad feels like, your siblings feel like. You know it if who's in the room before you even open your eyes or even hear them. It's a feeling, it's a tone. So let's just welcome Gabrielle there so you can feel, sense, for some smell, and see that presence for you. Let's just ask, Gabrielle, what do you have to share today, my good friend? What is it you would love to show me right now, my good friend? Where would you love to take me right now? Not out of your body, but expanding further into, because each one of them will take you on a journey, not to leave your body, but expand through it. Let's just take a breath. And on the exhale this time, Let's inhale through your nose for the count of 11. And hold below your navel for the count of 9. And then exhaling through your mouth, like with a deep sigh. And I bind up out and away all entities, energies, thought forms, all influences and interruptions, up, out, and away from all these different ones, mind, bodies, and auras now, and about and away from first the cause, code, the reckoning, effect of it, and all influences, interferences of them from first separation to now, and I bind it all to the sun to be repolarized for the good of all humanity, never to return. I welcome in their greater consciousness and their higher levels and their manifest levels that come down into, within, and through and around them to assist them to embody in and integrate within them their light beingness, and also opening the barriers, the gateways of downloading quantum leaping faster and faster as quickly as they can handle for their highest best good, and of course for the highest and best good of all concerned. And so it is spoken, and so it is done, and so it is. And now let's just let ourselves open up more and more and more and more. Lightening up, brightening up, and just having more and more and more of a blast than ever. Connecting, radiating, and vibrating faster and faster and faster with more and more ease and grace. And now, let's ask all these dear ones just to step back for a moment. And now, let's ask them, let them know we're opening our eyes now. Now we're going to shift our focal point to the dimensional plane in which our body's located right now. And we would like to feel them still around us, just like right now, but still becoming closer and closer. And let's welcome them all to become more and more of a divine part of your life, as part of now your real family, well beyond genetics, biology, DNA, RNA, and all that fun stuff. But now your real family that's been there when you've been laying in your crib, that's been there when you were coming into the body, it's been there the whole time, just a little bit standing off because you have been a little bit preoccupied on your day-to-day journey and kind of forgot who you were. So let's welcome them to become more and more active. And also, hey, I'm awake, now keep me awake. Help me to love and not to judge. Help me to keep me unfolding as quickly as I can handle for my highest and best good, and for the highest and best good of all concerned. And so it is spoken, and so it is done, and bring it on. And now with our eyes open, let's just take another breath, a deep sigh. And how much can you still feel? And how much larger did you become in the process?
The experience was really, how to say, it was like connecting with friends, and also like there was a message like about making choices. It was not about making what we think the right choice, but feeling more comfortable choosing something, like making a choice and exploring that without feeling that we may miss out of the other choices. So it's more just exploration. That was something I got. And
and having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Because it's interesting, right? And I was just sharing this about this on one of our courses. You know, what would it be like, Mansep, to there's quadrillions of choices to be made that you're asked to make that are laid in front of you constantly. But what would it be like for a moment just to entertain, just to explore for yourself? What would it be like to choose not to choose?
Yeah.
Just for fun. Since we're speaking about expansiveness, you know, what would that be like?
It's like we let go of some, how to say, some weight that we had on our shoulder. It's yeah, it's more like living life like moments by moments. If you don't feel to choose, yeah, it's okay. It's not that complicated.
Well, it's kind of interesting because even if you go back when it was said from source consciousness before it split itself off into all of you, myself included, every dear one on the planet, into all these facets of itself, when it had shared, let there be light. It didn't say I choose light. It didn't say I command light. It didn't say I force light. It just said I let there be. That wasn't about a choice. That was about a welcoming, right? So let there be love, let there be laughter, let there be joy, let there be enjoyment. Something that we're letting occur by not having to choose it. See, having to choose it's kind of like grabbing on and holding onto the rope as tight as we can, but we're being tugged to the right, tugged to the left, tugged up, tugged down. And like we have to just a whole nother back door for the ego to have something to bite into, because the whole choice thing I have fun with, because the whole choice thing, it's wonderful when you're first waking up, especially if you perceive like you're the tail on a kite being jerked all around the place during a storm, and who's holding the stream. That's more about waking up to not being controlled, to starting to realize you actually have a say-so in your life. That's huge, that your life's not happening to you, but now you actually have power and a say-so in your life. But then you finally get to a point where you outgrow choice. Now you start welcoming in more love, more joy, more. It's like I'm awake, now keep me awake, and then you outgrow wants, desires, because all of those things you start to realize, well, for me to want would mean, literally speaking, this isn't just a head game, but for me to want would mean I, as creator, foresee or perceive I have a lack within myself. But now it's like, okay, well, I desire, okay, well, even if I'm desiring, okay, I as creator, somewhere, somehow, some shape, I must have something within myself that I do not feel whole about within myself. Now, this is where we say, okay, it's been great, been wonderful, whatever. And then we say, okay, namaste, have a blast. And now we wake up to, all right, family. All right, universe. All right, source that I am as a whole. Show me what today looks like. Show me all the love, all the beauty, all the brilliance. Show me how much fun I can have. Because of course, you as creator, of course, creator loves to express love about itself. So of course, there's going to be brilliant unfoldments, brilliant sceneries. Of course, a beloved of the heart, a marriage of the heart, on and on. Of course, creator would love for you to have a partner, male, woman, female, now a little half and half, 3/4 of this, 1/4 of the other, and whatever surgeries are going on, would love for you to experience love in every way, because you are love. You are a creator. Creator is love. God is love. Love is God. It's all one and the same. And that also includes abundance for paying your bills, on and on. And because even paper money is still love, and it does grow on trees because it's made of trees. So from here, it's like not this, but not that. It's all encompassed. Now, what are you as creator saying? All right, let today unfold for the highest best good of all concerned, where eventually you even outgrow the idea of a me, to where it's like you become like the wind. But you see, I say that because it's like there's no idea of a me to protect. There's no idea of a me to project. There's no idea of a me that has to prove one thing or another thing. There's no little like Chihuahua, Yokuro Taco Bell dog, or meh, 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 and trying to notice me. Did you see what I did? Did you see what I didn't do? And it's like, sitting and carry around in your handbag somewhere in Beverly Hills. And it's like, well, I'm glad if it is a zombie apocalypse, you have something to eat right in your bag. So it makes me feel good. And, from here, I'm just kidding. But, from here, it's like, what happens where there's no little self, like no little ego self that remains? Because I get this question, I have been getting it a lot recently, and it is a question that I've been aware of for millennia that's been asked, which is, many get confused. Don't we require an ego to be in a body on a planet? And the answer is absolutely not. You require a mind, but the mind is not an ego. The ego is outside of the mind. The mind is your friend. It's the processor. It scans, okay, if I walk off this top of this balcony and there's no stairs or a rope or water, I'm most likely going to fall due to gravity, whatever. And if I continue to accelerate my car towards the edge of that cliff or that brick wall, eventually I'm going to merge with the ground or with bricks and see which one is thinner. Now, that's called the brain of logic. That's why the mind was created in the first place. So you would be able to create logic until you became identified with the logic, and the logic took over and then went into creating the ego. Now, with great emotion, so emotion was created after the ego was created, and the ego said, this is bad, that is good. And with great force, like, that's when the energy got blocked up, got built up, still trying to break that free. And now we have what we'd call emotional breakdowns, because that energy gets so powerful that, and that was the first creation of mental health hospital. Now from here, lobotomies really, now from here, the energy expels, and now it's just giving these different words like detox, issues, buttons, psychosis, schizophrenia, whatever, manic depressive, but these are all just different labels, but the same thing still applies. Now we're at a point where, okay, now what really deserves or requires my attention with the mind? Not my projection from the ego that's based in survival. Isn't that awesome, buddy?
Yeah, I really love your perspective about that. It's how to say, for me, it's totally new, and also, like I said earlier, it really brings so much, how to say, maybe having more fun with life in how to say, in a simple way, without overcomplicating. it's yeah, I love how you describe that.
Yeah, and it's fun to follow because the other part, that we're really looking at, Monsef, the part that's often left behind, none of these are concepts. It is what it is. And as it is what it is, just based in factual reality, if you take a breath and put your hand or your finger, different parts of the brain, or the head, you can start to feel different parts of the brain starting to function, different neural pathways, even through the pineal pituitary gland, through the frontal lobe of the brain, through the pleasure center of the brain, through the amygdala, through the center of the brain, because many get stuck in the midbrain, which is just all based in acting out impulse. And they get lost there from the frontal lobe. And so they get lost in the whole idea of spirituality, which means, we're all kids again. Where's the acid? And before it makes a full connect through the back of the brain, acid, ayahuasca, whatever. And now we're bringing it all back. If we're a full reconnection, even through the crystalline structure of the brain, to where everything's stepping out of dormancy and being able to make a full connection. So if you could imagine a broken up diamond being all re-solidified to make a huge diamond where each and every part starts to reconnect and work again, even the DNA. There's a 12 double helix strands, obviously, the youth vitality chromosomes, obviously, the RNA, the DNA, and then we get into the genetics that start breaking down, same with the telomere, but the telomere rebuilding, because the genetics, it's like the genealogy of the body, it's not so much generational, although genetics look like a stream that goes dimensionally through each and every form of the family monad. So we have mother, sister, brother, cousin, aunt, uncle, whatever. Then you're in the center. Your bodies can, like bones, DNA, cells, and the skeletal system, nervous system, that's all connected where, okay, Aunt Susie 4 generations ago gave into this curse. So genetics, she bought into it with such a jolt. It started breaking down the genetic line. And then now cousin Bobby, he has these symptomologies, and that then went to his kids, now his kids, but all because Aunt Susie went through whatever. Then you go into clearing out the genetic encodements and all of that, to where now you have a whole genetic stream. Until you wake up from the genetic stream, you start to realize, whoa, Charlie Brown, this is my body now. I'm not a gene, unless your name's Gene. But then beyond that, you start to turn these things off. And your body starts to become disassociated from it, because now literally it's starting to become your body, your neural pathways, your pleasure center of the brain, your amygdala, no longer being visited by Arthur in your late 30s. That's Arthur, last name Itis, and all the different branch offs. That because now it's like, whoa, man, I'm not my mom, I'm not my dad, I'm not whatever. Because it's like, no, I'm me, creator incarnate. And bummer for them, they all bought into it. But how blessed I am to be the one that breaks the chain in a very loving, beautiful, pleasant way. Isn't that awesome? And same with mental health, physical health, because there's more to it than just, well, my grandma was nuts, her kid was nuts, now you're nuts. Well, it doesn't work like that. It's the personal issues that activate those chains.
Yeah, absolutely. I really love that. Thank you very much. And Irita shared wonderful call. I would say that's the whole call, a meditation. I am feeling so calm, so peaceful. Thank you. And also, I would like to take maybe a couple of minutes to talk about the program are offering, and then take questions from the audience. So I invite everyone to visit the link yourdivineuniqueness.com/William, yourdivineuniqueness.com/William, WILLLIAM. Or you can click on the special offer button, which is on the live events page, the replay page later, the replay page. And the link is on YouTube and also on the chat box. And the program is integration and expression of the universe through you. So, William, I would love if you can tell us what our audience can expect from using this program.
Yeah, the offering, the recordings and everything, it's video and audio recordings expressing your individual uniqueness beyond arising fears, and watching all the gifts in your physical manifestational world begin to really, I mean, literally you're letting it come in, but from your manifestational world coming into form, how to become the vortex and universal portal of light that you are, and watching all that occurs around you. And it's being requested that you download each file one at a time, and then the ways to express and receive love in all ways. And the coolest thing, you know, the thing is 13 hours of HD video and audio files as well. But the coolest thing about it is it's not just words, it's not just videos. It like even today, if you really listen to the repeat, you know, of the recording, and this time watch it with your eyes closed. Next time, watch it with not trying to listen to every word, just basically, I say watch it, but watch it with your ears. You know, you'll feel the energetic impulses, the energetic adjustments, the energetic activations going on within you and through you. They're happening in your crystalline structure. They're happening in the DNA. They're happening through your emotional bodies. They're actually accessing, activating, and dissolving, I'll call it the pain bodies and the mental bodies, and even the cellular, molecular levels that have been holding so much of your body, holding on to stuff and holding its breath, and sending all of it into quantum leaping hyperdrive, was saying, get out with the old and in with the new. And then there's also going to be audio recordings, what a divine relationship is within your personal life, and then how to let it happen for you and to continuously grow, how to be in constantly growing vibrancy of lightness and your fullest of potential within every situation, while continuing to awaken to all facets of you, and so much more that is being offered. How to accelerate all of your life relationships optimally and letting them come into the manifestation, the manifest form with heightened speed and endurance with ease and grace. And there's a webpage link for all recordings and the special offer. And the price is going to be only $97 US.
Yeah. Thank you very much, William.
By someone.
Yeah.
I have no idea. But brought
Yeah.
right to your computer or laptop or mobile device.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, William. Yeah, very grateful to you. Like I said, I really love your message and your teaching, and also the energy that you transmit and hold. And really feel honored to share your work with our audience. So thank you so much for offering this program. And everyone, I highly recommend that you sign up to receive this program. And again, the link is yourdivineuniqueness.com/William, yourdivineuniqueness.com/William, WILLIAM. Or you can click on the special offer button, which is on the live events page, later on the replay page. The link also is on YouTube video description and on the chat boxes. And can we take a couple of questions from the audience? Like
yeah, I see 2 hands up.
Yeah, we have some hands up. Like you within Prism Vortex, can you please unmute yourself?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, great. Thank you, Will. Well, my birthday wish today was to speak to you, so I got my first wish come true. Thank you.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
I appreciate you. So I started, and thank you, Monsef. I started graduate school for my PhD in education, and I've really been noticing that I am creating the world that I live in, and I would like to, of course, for it to be much greater for myself and everyone in it. So when you talk about separation, there's this belief about being veiled. Is there some way to just let go of that belief? I rationally know that there is no veil there, but it's like a belief that we have to be unveiled, that we have to attain total consciousness. And in order for that to occur, you know, what is the shift? Is it a timeline shift? Is it a consciousness shift? What is that?
Well, what's your first name, sweetheart?
Maria.
Maria, okay. I'm sorry, I'm looking, I see on my screen it says something different. But, well, Maria, what does the veil mean to you?
I know physically what it is, you know. However, when I think of that concept, it's like I think of a book, Isis Unveiled. I have the book, but it's like maybe uncovering whatever would allow for total truth, the highest truth, like ascended master consciousness or great cosmic beings.
Okay. Now, it makes me always go to, okay, if there's a veil, what it tells me where a veil's at, it tells me that here's the bodies on the planet, then here is the mass collective thought forms surrounding the planet above the bodies of the planet. Then it tells me here's the astral planes above the bodies and the mind and the thoughts. Then it tells me above the astral planes, then we start going into, you know, your more expansive states. So we go into the sun, we go into the sun, to your greater consciousness, on and on. But the part that makes me wonder is veils to me are places and spaces where someone or something vibratorily, magnetically, is holding a certain grid system in place and holding you like holding you hostage, like you're plowing through, you just haven't got there yet. So it has me kind of go right through to look to the other side and say, okay, you know what, hey, you know, kind of like the kite analogy I gave earlier. Okay, who's pulling the stream? Who's holding the stream? And so that's where I always go to the source first of whom or what would be holding that veil in place.
Well,
Now,
it's me, right?
go ahead.
It's me if there's no separation.
Well, so let's ask yourself, what is your biggest fears? Like, what are your biggest fears, your biggest dragons for yourself personally?
Well, to not demonstrate myself as source, or, you know, like you're an inspiration to us as far as your level of consciousness. So not comparing ourselves to you, but how would I attain that level or greater consciousness?
Well, that part's pretty simple. Walk around thinking of nothing. Walk around identified with nothing. Walk around taking absolutely nothing threatening nor serious. Walk around, I mean, you have your schedule, whatever. I would encourage you to show up at your schedule, but with no attachment. And what that means, okay, I'm going to show up. I'm going to do what I do when I do it. I'm going to show up as I agreed to. I'm going to go in. I'm going to do what I do when I do it to the best of my ability. I'm going to show up. I'm going to, if I'm a plumber, I'm going to have my tools. I'm going to do whatever I do whenever I do it. And I'm just going to, you know, watch, rinse, repeat, whatever, do my job to the best of my ability. Okay, that would be what I would do hypothetically as I'm walking my walk. If today I'm a student and graduating, then tomorrow I'm a barista, then I'm never really a student or a barista. That's just where my body is. Now, and then the next day, who knows? I may be changing the fuel system in a car or the oil or working at a library, who knows? But I promise you one thing, I'm going to put my heart into everything that I'm engaging with. And I'm going to emanate through every place, every space, everyone. If I'm cleaning the litter boxes or cleaning up animal pens, that's exactly where I'm going to be and putting my whole heart into it. I'm not going to be identified with it. So if I'm scraping up the litter boxes, well, it doesn't make me one thing or another. See, I'm not going to live in any boxes. I'm not going to fight boxes, but I know it doesn't make me a litter box engineer. So I'm not going to try to fit into any boxes there. So it's where I start unraveling all the things that I would have identified with. Okay. Like being a mechanic or being a software engineer or being whatever, where nothing has the ability to put me in a box. Now, I'm not fighting it. I just know I don't fit in the box. And now when you go there with me, sweetheart, like, let's take all those boxes off you. Let's start small. Okay. So let's take you out of the box of being a bouncing baby female. Now, let's take you out of the box of being an awesome student. Let's take you out of the box of being an awesome daughter, an awesome sibling, an awesome, I know, cousin, niece, an awesome friend, camaraderie. Let's take you out of the box of being anything, any other boxes you can think of.
Okay. And
on and on. And just how does that feel right now for you as you get rid of all those boxes?
as we unbox me, the thing that came up is when you said fighting, no longer fighting, I feel like I'm not fighting, but I also don't want to fight. Like when I hear people speak violently or say something violent, I don't take it personally, but that's the part of me that wishes I could change the world. So if I can't change the world, I know I have to change it in me.
Okay, now that brings up a whole nother topic. Why would you want to change the world?
Not well, I guess it's the fighting part, the abuse part, the domestic violence, things like that.
Okay, why in heavens would you want to change that? Don't you think it's a good workout for the husbands, cardiovascular activity, less heart attacks?
Yeah. It doesn't look good though.
Okay, why doesn't it look good, sweetheart? Don't the females deserve it?
Well, no, I mean, you know, and the crying children and things like that.
Yeah, but didn't they know what they were signing up for?
Yes, and I think that's the part that feels like a fight, that
Doesn't
know.
doesn't the wife know that where the front door is?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't the kids know if their mom was really, really concerned, she would take them, their siblings, and walk out that front door?
Yeah.
So I hear a lot of stories that they just can't. Well, everyone can. Unless you're chained up to a wall, then I know you could figure out a way. Now, my point right now, when you get up in the morning, do you shave your legs, your underarms, whatever, hop in the shower and get dressed and put on makeup?
Sometimes.
Why?
Only if it feels good.
Okay, so why? What would make it feel good?
I know I'm doing it for me, because I personally feel better about myself, whether it's cultural, societal. I think those are all the perspectives, you know, the points of views about how to look, accepting myself.
Okay. Now, because these are all things that I'm addressing that same question that you originally asked about the veil.
Yeah.
a big, heavy black cross when we started going into abuse, domestic violence. For my angel, it's abused animals and people who abuse animals, you know, and all these different things, right? I mean, which is kind of like the same thing. And for you right now, I mean, I'm not saying don't care. I'm not saying if you don't agree with something or if it's happening right in front of you, I'm not asking you not to call 911 or whatever, but I'm asking you to step back, take a breath before you rush to judgment, because that's the part that's holding that veil. And that veil gets held into place because of what you think it should be like, rather than how it is. How it is to bring you clarity. How the box you're putting it in is that big giant iron sarcophagus of saying this is wrong. And it's interesting because, and it may sound a little bit batty, Maria, but here's the deal, is that it wouldn't be happening if all players, the wife, the kid, and the partner, if all of them were not getting something out of it, it would not be happening.
Okay, thank you. I will have to keep listening. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for asking, sweetheart.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Marianne. And yeah, that was really wonderful. Thank you so much, William. And yeah, we already exceeded the call time, but just wondering if you have more time for one more question, or maybe you have other. Okay, thank you. So Anne, can you please unmute yourself?
Hi guys.
Hi.
Hey, thank you so much for this show, Monsif. Thank you. And thank you, Will, for sharing all the wisdom. Thank you very much.
And what's your name?
And
I'm just joking. How are you, Miss Anne?
the land of rice. Good. How's everybody?
It's been a little bit ricey.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what's your question, sweetheart?
Well, I think you've already kind of been addressing it and describing it with the last question, but having, you know, gone through a lot of work is not quite the right word, degunking and paying attention to, you know, what you've been saying and kind of putting it to use. One thing that I found kind of exciting was the idea and tapping into synchronicity, meaning as we deal with these things, getting rid of misperceptions, misconclusions, these identities, and we've been taught that, oh, you're supposed to be, you know, responsible, and you need to do the needs and the shoulds, and you better do this and that, and it's kind of like all this working to make things happen. And what I kind of refer to as the flow, where you can kind of be in no thought and you can start letting divine order happen, and to realize that, you know, things are going to present, that say you intend to have more abundance in your life, that you don't necessarily have to work it. You can kind of get into the flow of divine order, get in the flow of synchronicity, and these things will present. I mean, sometimes when I go out to the stores, I almost have to kind of tell the guys or the universe, like, please don't present what I was just thinking that I would want, because I need to kind of slow up a little bit on purchasing things. Or, I mean, it's really fun stuff, and it can be as simple as, I need this parking, a close parking space because I'm going to be carrying gallons of water or something like that. And bam, it's right there. But you didn't have to work it. You didn't have to worry about it. Do you have some comments for us about sort of tapping in, or you might say surrendering to the flow of synchronicity? instead of having to work it, and just to know that something really positive like that is ahead for us to go to tap into.
Well, yeah, for everyone and everywhere, in every way, every situation. I mean, whether it be abundance in money, whether it's be relationships, whether it be intimate, loving relationship with the heart, whether it be new job or friendships, camaraderie, whatever it may be, it said, okay, you know what, family, make me an instrument of light. I am light, I am love. Help me to love and emanate that love. And I'm going to the stores. All right, guys, you know, take care of the car, take care of the road. Let's go. Take care of parking and take care of the body. And then light up the building, light up the road, light up the parking lot. And all right, look at my grocery list. Yeah. And you know, family, that also love a parking spot, you know, closer to the door, that would simplify my journey. And this is where I would get into, but this is just me. It's up to everyone individually. But I would say, all right, for my highest and best good and the highest best good of all concerned. So what I mean by that, if someone else has a list 20 times as long and they have 3 kids and a single white female or whatever female, you know, I would by all means prefer that she got that spot rather than myself. But if they weren't, if they did not require it, yeah, I would love to be second in line. Now, that's not a martyrdom thing. It's that I know myself well enough to know if I was pulling up to the spot and they were right behind me, I would see that they could definitely use it a lot more than I could, and I would still give it to them, whether I was there first or not, due to what they were dealing with. Now, I would say, yeah, this job opened up at my office and yeah, sat back, took a look at it, did a scan. Okay, I'm capable. I know how to do that. Sounds like a great profession. Sounds like, you know, a better parking spot, whatever it may be. Okay, great. You know, I don't mind working an extra week or during the holiday. Great, bring it on. Let's go. I'm game. I would literally say, all right, family, take care of it. I'll put in my paperwork, let them know I'm interested and I'm capable, put it in. All right, family, take it from here. And without making it super technical. And then if I'm taking a road trip, like when we went to Nashville not too long ago, my angel, Mike Connell and Jennifer Connell, I was like, all right, family, you know, take care of traffic, take care of the traffic jams, because we're getting in there during rush hour and, you know, just take care of it all, thanks. And I just got in the car, laid back, took a nap, and sure enough, we were there like that with not hitting traffic or any of that fun stuff. You know, things like that where, you know, there's times you will, there's times you'll just let it ride. But the point is that when you experience some sort of angst coming up around something, all right, family, you know, take care of it, or, you know, let it unfold this way, that way, or the other way. But when that stuff presents, the part I love about it is that this is more about you connecting with you, and it's only going to present that way when you're present. You're not really going to be presented with that stuff when you're hijacked on a time schedule, when you're preoccupied with, it's like many dear ones go to the store, but before they ever left the house, they're already on aisle 4, which is salami and the butcher or something. They're missing the whole ride from leaving the front door, getting in the car and getting there. So they're not present. And this is part of you taking a breath, becoming present, to where now all this stuff you can let be out in front of you, outside of you, to where now you can become engaged, but also wide awake and fully alert, rather than handling it or trying to handle it like a linebacker.
Yeah, thank you. I remember with the waiting for the passport, and it was getting down to like 2 days left, and you were saying, you know, why don't you call the State Department? It kind of puts some of your consciousness into it, you know, kind of give it a boost of consciousness, and
The jolt.
it worked. And some other people and I are looking for new homes, and you were kind of going through with me like, okay, well, you know, imaging, like, well, what do you want? You know, do you know, high ceilings, lots of light, you know, things like that. And you start, instead of having to work it, instead of having, you know, complaining about, oh, real estate industry and this and that, blah, blah. It's kind of like, okay, what's your intention? What's your consciousness? What do you want? And then kind of surrendering, so to speak, to like divine order. You do your part, and the divine order will kind of bring the rest. That's kind of what I got from those experiences that you helped me with.
Yeah, because when I had my first home, it was talking to their one in the car with me, and it was, okay, well, what do you want in a home? Okay, well, 4 bedrooms, so many bathrooms, you know, a huge yard, swimming pool, jacuzzi, blah, blah, blah. And just the finances did not match that. But by the time we got home, I got a phone call, and okay, well, you know, I would love to have you move in, and you and everyone there, and take care of the land. The house is this size. It has a pool, jacuzzi, and animals. And the only thing I'm asking is that you pay this much and you take care of the land. So that paid for itself and more. And that was my first massage client as well. So it's not about a dollar amount of affordability. It was, okay, I know how to mow. Okay, I know how to take care of coffee plants and, you know, windmills and water and animals. So, all right, great. You know, so let's not rule out what's available, even if it's beyond, is what I mean. It's not always going to make sense to your mind. It's beyond the mind's ability to figure things out.
And I think kind of superseding the fear, like, oh, whether you can afford things, or, oh, if the passport doesn't come, you know, to not get into those kind of negative scenarios, and instead the courage to kind of hand yourself over to the positive process.
And having fun with it.
Yeah. Right. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Anne. And also thank you very much, William. Yeah, so grateful to you for the support you gave to our callers, and also for everything you shared with us today. It was really inspiring, very eye-opening, and we loved everything you shared. It was really very special. So I'm very grateful to you. Thank you.
Oh, and to you, my good friend. And thank you so much for this beautiful opportunity, Monsef. And look forward to seeing you soon. And thank you, everybody. This has been truly an honor and a blast. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And also, everyone, thank you so much for being here with us today, for co-creating with us this experience, whether you joined live or later, if you will be watching or listening to the replay. And yeah, so again, you can find the program that William is offering to us by going to the link yourdivineuniqueness.com/William, yourdivineuniqueness.com/William, WILLIAM. Or you can visit click on the special offer button, which is on the live events page, later on the replay page, and the link also on the YouTube video description and the chat boxes. And the program is Integration and Expression of the Universe Through You. And yeah, so with that, everyone, I'm sending you so much love, and I will see you on the next call. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Monsef.
Thank you. Thank you. Much love.
Much love.
Much love. Much love.
Bye-bye. Thank
Bye.
you.